training started becoming more and more serious as time went on. We invested more and more into it, and our facility became inadequate. So we built a new facility, which we're in today. And we've got a 1,300 square meter building, which has got a training center. It's got a conference center for a training and a training workshop. And our reps are not sales reps, they're technical reps. And the whole thing is to make sure that the product is installed. And just with Rockford alone, we do 4 segments. We do mobile audio, we do marine audio, we do motorcycle audio, predominantly Harley Davidson, and we do ATVs. Now, these aren't just products that are modified, they are purpose-built specifically for those applications. And we understand the acoustical challenges, we understand the electrical challenges, and Rockford invests millions of dollars into the R&D of it. Because of the training that we've done over the years, it's built up a dealer network in Southern Africa like no other. And I can quite openly say this, that there's no other company that does 12-volt audio that has the ability to say they have the highest skilled people. In the sense that they're skilled, but we've invested in them. We've invested in making them the very, very best. And we grade these dealers, which is correct, because if you go and have your sound system installed at a dealer that's not, you need to know up front that you're not paying for something that people alluded to. So you can say you're a specialist and the consumer could be duped. We've made sure that doesn't happen. But remember, we have a specific select few that we want to sell our brands to. It's not how deep their pockets are, it's how deep their heart is and their passion. And if they meet the criteria, that's the start of it. The rest comes. Money comes naturally. How do those consumers ever get to, show off what they're proud of? And I mean, I'm sure everybody's, when they bought their first new thing, they want to go out and show their mates. So we start this program, which is going to be called RF Army, what's actually launched already. It's on our social media and our website, where consumers can sign up, they enlist, they get free R-Bucks, which is the return for, giving us their time. And they've got to just send us video footage and pictures of their installs and their rides. And it's not just about the installation, it's about the package, the whole car. It's the mags, it's the stance, it's everything. It's what people define as hot rods, in a modern sense and in the old sense. And that would be obviously put onto our social media platforms. We're getting some exposure from that, but to give something back is what we see as important. And for every social media interaction that's recorded through our platforms, we're giving them an R-Buck. Now, those R-Bucks can be accrued, and they'll get to use that on our website to purchase free products through our dealers, which is, to me, it's the right way to do it. So if someone wants to upgrade their system and then maybe don't have the money, they can use this platform to do it. Going forward, where I see the industry going is certainly not going to be easier for people that have not invested the time, as I mentioned earlier. And a lot of companies that have just winged it are going to find it more and more difficult. And the reason why I say that is that the motor industry is continually developing their electronics. There's some manufacturers that are putting microphones hidden in the car to counter road noise, for example. So instead of putting in thicker metal or sound dampening, they can deal with this electronically. Now, when you put an installation upgrade for an audio system, there's a problem, because that system obviously is hearing what you've added, and it's an issue. Now, as these things develop more and more and more, it's going to become that there's going to be a very refined set of dealers that are going to be capable of dealing with this. Now, 40 years ago when I started in the industry, there was none of that. I mean, you could literally just chuck an amplifier in, and in fact, amplifiers weren't in existence then. But 30 years ago, you could throw an amplifier into a car, and there was none of those issues. 10 years ago, that started coming into the industry, and it was a challenge, but most people could get around it by chucking another radio in, okay? It's got to the point now where you can't just chuck out the radio, or the source unit, as you may call it, because it's tied into their CAN bus, their fiber optic, their telemetrics, everything is tied into it. And as the companies try to develop sources that are trying to integrate with that, they're becoming really expensive. And people don't want to change their dashboard and have to spend, I don't know, 15 grand to change the radio. So The industry is going to have to be affiliated to not only just America, which is the only country in the world that has a recognized industry graduation for this, but other countries like South Africa, and hopefully that our training will become actually recognized, which people that are in this industry are going to need to require in order for them to actually work on cars. Because I believe manufacturers are going to make it so difficult, but there's going to be this continual war, and there always will be. Consumer wants his stuff added or her stuff added, and manufacturers are going to continually make it worse and worse and worse. So companies that have obviously realized that and embraced it, which is Audio Control and Rockford, predominantly have invested in that because they see that direction, are going to come out of this, on the other end because their brand name's been around. Companies that have chosen not to, unfortunately, they're going to become a statistic. That's where I see the future going, and I hope I can, and all the people that work in this company can pass that legacy on. Because if we don't, realize that very quickly we all have a short space in time on Earth, and if we don't do anything of value that's tangible, what are we doing? What have we left behind? Our company philosophy is based off and aligned with nature. And, once you're a Rockford dealer, you're going to benefit from all the investment we make with the brand, the training, as we discussed. But the real question is what are you going to give back as a dealer to reinvest into that brand? Just like when you're farming, you got to put back in the soil. In other words, you don't get to reap your crop. And for us, that's what's key and most fundamental. It's not just about selling a product. It's about continually reinvesting in our dealers and hoping that they can continue to reinvest back for the next generation. And right now, we are just custodians of the brand, and we have to pass on that torch one day and make sure that it's has meaning in the years to come.